The meaning of life. What is the meaning of life? What if I told you that life has no meaning? The only meaning life has is the meaning you ascribe to it. What does it mean to you? And let's say you disagree with what I am saying. It really doesn't matter what it means to me, or what it means to someone else, or what it means to another race, or people in another country, or your friends, or your family. What does it mean to you? What does life mean to you? That's really the only meaning that matters. It's amazing how people look for the meaning of life in books and speakers and other people, and never stop to think, what does it mean to me? It's like success. What does success mean to me? Because that's really all that matters. Are you chasing someone else's meaning of success? Are you chasing someone else's meaning of life? If you do, you will come to an end of dissatisfaction and unfulfillment. Unhappiness, if you like, because only by pursuing what is important to you and what means something to you will bring you the fulfillment that you desire, the contentment, the happiness, the health, the wealth, your well-being that you desire, that you long for. What is success without health? Very hard to enjoy the luxuries of life if you can't navigate your way around without pain, or if you have no energy. So does the meaning of life to you mean being healthy and looking good? Or does it mean serving others? Or is it a combination of both, or of many different things? As I said in the beginning, it really doesn't matter. It's what's important to you. We all have desires within us, and these desires will lead us to our meaning in life, what life means to us, what brings us fulfillment. The problem is, or the challenge is, we come into this world as a blank slate. And we are imprinted with everyone else's ideas and meanings and rules and regulations and restrictions and limitations that everyone puts on us. From the beginning, our parents do that to us. I've put restrictions and limitations on my kids, even with the knowledge and wisdom that I have, because I'm trying to keep them safe, to keep them from being hurt. We come into life with two fears, they say, the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. All the other fears and doubts are learned, and Lord knows I've learned a lot of them. If there is a devil, it's doubt and fear. Fear will stop you from achieving your desires, your goals. It will stop you from finding your meaning of life. And fear is quite the culprit. Obviously, if you stand over a cliff and look over, you're going to feel fear. You know what that is. But fear disguises itself. It dresses itself up in all different forms. Procrastination, anger, or the 7 deadly sins, if you like. And now remember, when I say the word sin, I don't mean it in a religious sense that it's a terrible bad thing. As I've said many times, the word sin comes from an Anglo-Saxon term in archery, which means to miss the mark, to miss the bullseye, or to make a mistake. Well, thank God I was born a sinner, because otherwise I wouldn't learn anything. We learn from our mistakes. We learn when we miss the mark, when we set out in a certain direction or try to accomplish something and we don't quite get there. So we reevaluate, that is, if we're not blaming other people. There are few people who realize that their success or failure is their responsibility. It's so much easier to blame someone else, to blame others for our shortcomings, our sins, if you like. But what does this have to do with the meaning of life? Well, if I'm all focused on what everybody else is doing and how everyone else is keeping me from what I want to do, keeping me from being successful, then I'm not worried about the meaning of life, because I think everybody's mean and it's everybody else's fault that I'm not happy, fulfilled, and successful. You must take complete responsibility for your life. Otherwise, you're a victim. Do you want to be a victim? I sure as hell don't want to be a victim. If I'm a victim, I'm helpless. My son had a situation where he got into a physical altercation. He was not able to fight back. Well, he could have, and he got hurt, but it was probably a good thing he didn't fight back. He told me that the worst thing was having that feeling of helplessness. And I understand that. I've felt helpless in my life until I realized that I put myself in those situations just as he did, unknowingly. But although he mistakenly put himself in a situation where that happened, he can learn from that. And that's what I tried to direct his attention to. How did you get there? You must take responsibility for putting yourself in that situation. For had you not put yourself in that situation, this never would have happened. And that's something people get angry about. Andrew Tate said about, I can't even say the word, but he said a certain group of people should take responsibility when when something happens to them. Women. And they were pretty upset about that. But he compared it to this. If I take a big fistful of money and go down here to East St. Louis at night, which is very dangerous, and walk around the streets flaunting it in the air, and I get robbed, well, that doesn't make the robbers okay, of course. That's wrong what they did. But if I don't take responsibility for my actions, which is I should know better than to do that, then I'm never going to learn anything, and one day I may put myself in a position where I get deleted. If I want to blame them, and that's not saying they're right for what they did to me, but I put myself in a very vulnerable position to be robbed. And he compared that to the situation with women when they are assaulted by men. What did they do to put themselves in a position where this could happen? And he's talking about taking responsibility for where you put yourself. Not for what the other person did, but for allowing yourself or putting yourself in these positions so in the future you cannot do the same thing again. But what does this have to do with the meaning of life? You must take responsibility. Otherwise, you will never find what life means to you. You have to look within yourself. You have to make that decision yourself. You have to sit and contemplate your life. What has been important to you? For Andrew Tate, he wants to send the message to men and people to be responsible so they can have a better life. He sends a message that masculinity is not terrible. I know some people don't like him. Maybe you don't like him. I don't agree with everything he does, but I do agree with most of his messages on being a man. The problem people have is they take it out of context. You have to listen to the whole message. I listened to both of his 4 and 5 hour interviews and many others. But if you just listen to short clips, yeah, I could see why people would hate him. I understand that. But once again, it's out of context. Is your life out of context? Have you sat and contemplated the contextual aspects of your life so you can find the meaning for you? Not what Andrew Tate's meaning is, not what the president's meaning is, not what your parents' meaning is, your meaning of life. What does it mean to you? Think about that. Sit and think about it. Try to eliminate all the messages you've received in your life, except for the ones that strike you or inspire you. And allow that to draw up from within yourself the meaning of life for you. Because that's really all that matters, is what it means to you. That's all I have time for today. Hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with a friend if you think it may be of value to them. Take care. Have a great day.